What's up, guys? I got it right this time. Welcome to episode 4 of the Mechabuzz Podcast. I'm your co-host, Andre Great Pink Show, joined alongside the ever so fabulous Dan Vibe Sherlong. Dan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I had a really nice day at Mechabellum today.
Nice, dude. I just got reminded of calling you Dan. It was so weird. I don't know if you know this, but Nadine, your wife, whenever we talk, I never understand what she's saying when she says your name. Like I look at her like I have no clue what she's saying. And I did this ever since I met her basically. And she's always called you Vibu after that to me in particular, you know? It's like the greatest adjustment that she's ever made in our relationship. And it's like I, I don't, who's Dan? Every single time that it
Yeah,
comes up.
that's all right. Everyone knows me as Vibu here. I'm Vibu
Um,
in the house.
well, Vibu, it wasn't always the greatest days. I mean, today is a great day of Mechabellum, but the last week has been a little bit brutal. The last 2 weeks, I should say, been a little bit brutal. Uh, I'm I'm not going to say I'm partly to blame, but of course it happened at our house together. You want to go into a little bit of backstory about what's been going on and your woes in the past 2 weeks with the whole storm?
Yeah, sure. There's just a lot of internet issues with like intermittent packet loss that we were experiencing. So a lot of up and downs with our internet, and then uh, our download would go down below even one. It would be like 0.6, 0.4. And people would be like, how are you streaming? Because somehow I still had a 100 upload and I just can't do anything. I play a game of Mechabellum, disconnect, reconnect. Guys, Mechabellum's great. You can just reconnect. It's okay. But it's definitely been a bit rough. The internet's been so unstable for the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been so brutal. I
Yeah,
know, I have my entire like team over there.
yeah.
We work a lot. We do a lot of stuff inside the poker space, and it's been just the worst. I don't know how you've been keeping a cool head because I've been like omega triggered every single day. Um, but you're just like,
I,
oh, another day, Mac
right now I am, because I'm like, oh, it works. But when it doesn't work, oh man, am I disappointed. Like the most disappointing part of it all was everyone's like so curious about all the standings, and I wanted to play so much, but I got so many disconnects in the first private ladder day of the BeastyQT Invitational. It was just I would play and I would disconnect, play, disconnect, and it would just suck. And it would give you losses in the games because you can't reconnect and that shit. It just like drops you out. So, and then it was okay though. Overall, I was like, it's okay. It was frustrating today, but at least I got to play a show match against State, and I get disqualified round 1 because I disconnect. So that sucked again for sure.
We will get into that a little bit later. Of course, the BeastyQT Invitational just happened this last weekend. Both me and Vibe participated in it because we are both StarCraft 2 alumni. We've known BeastyQT for quite a long time. It's been really nice for him to come into our scene. He's kind of split off. If you guys don't know, BeastyQT is the biggest Age of Empire 4 streamer, and he at one point was one of the top, I want to say 20 most subscribed channels on all of Twitch. He got up there. It was at least top 50, but
That's
he
crazy.
is a gigantic streamer. He has a wonderful personality in terms of the Twitch ethos. If you haven't already, please go ahead and check him out because we're able to use his namesake. We were able to use a lot of his goodwill and his entire community to build a really cool event around that. But we'll get into that a little bit later. That is the itinerary for today. So you can see on the bottom, it's just going to be 4 different segments. Of course, we're going to talk about a little bit of what's been going on. The BeastyQT Invitational buildings upcoming. We have some nice videos for you. And last but not least, we'll just do a short Q&A. The reason why I don't want to go super crazy today, Vibu, is because I know, and I kind of like prodded you in the stomach to do it. I want to do another podcast this weekend or this week, Friday or something. It's going to be an emergency podcast to make sure that we get our voices heard, everything about the buildings. That is going to be probably on Friday. So if you guys have the chance to, please you know, tune in and see us there.
I'm excited.
Anyway, yeah, the BeastyQT thing happened. The crazy internet stuff happened. Anything else been going on in your life, Vibo? I know you. Yeah, go ahead.
Just despite the internet, it was so fun. I had such a good time playing the Beastie event, and like it brought back like the fire of like, oh, I want to compete, I want to play with these guys. This is so fun, and it was so cool seeing so many people like get interested. And I was really hoping more would. I was like really hoping I would see more and more faces show up, but it was still really, it was a really good turnout. It was really fun. But yesterday was a really nice day off too. Nadine and I ended up buying a puzzle, and just about 2,000 piece puzzle, and we just did a puzzle for like hours. It was actually awesome. I had such a good time. I was like, I'm not a puzzle player, but maybe now I am, dude.
Dude, it's so funny what we do on our time off. You would think we would just like chill, veg, but no, you just like mess with your brain even more. You know, you just like have to tax it a little bit. It's funny how we do those type of things. So, that's cool, man.
It was a great time.
Yeah, I'm glad. I used to be of the opinion, especially when I was streaming back in the day. This is like 2015, 2016. I set out a goal that I really wanted to get back into streaming, and I remember that almost compulsion that if I wasn't streaming every moment of the day, I was somehow getting behind, that it just wouldn't be good.
That's me today.
Well, what I was going to say is I know that was very unhealthy.
Oh.
I always felt like there were streamers that were, you know, you were one of them, to be clear, back in the StarCraft 2 days. But I would see like, I want to say like 6 or 7 people that would be streaming not 24 hours, 7 days a week. And they'd be in like 12 hours, 11 hours, 14 hours, just every day. And I just didn't understand how to do it.
You just got to grind. You just got to put one foot in front of the other and hit play again. Just never think about it. You're like, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 7 hours.
Barbara, what you're supposed to say is, here's all the things that I learned over the years.
Oh, that's what I still do.
All right. Well, I gave that up, obviously. I wasn't able to keep up. You did not, and you've been crushing ever since. I know. Again, you've been doing the Bronze to GM series for StarCraft 2, and you started one up. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I know we talked about it last iteration, last Mechabuzz, excuse me. Yeah. But you know, what's been cooking over on your YouTube?
So I posted some of the Beastie stuff over there, and I also I feel like a lot of times whenever there's just something beautiful that happens in the day, I feel like each day I'm like kind of farming for just something inspiring to feel good, or just, you know, maybe just playing with what I like, and maybe a cool situation pops up with some of the Mechabellum RNG. But lots of good games that are just what I would deem like a fun game to play. So each one in itself is like a guide. I feel like mostly it's just fun guide format where you just get to like watch me do something and experiment with it, and then you can, you know, if you see what you like, maybe you take it and use it for yourself.
Yeah, I know that when I was first starting Mechabellum, I was dying for this type of content. So that's how I came across people like Stony. That's how I came across people like Rooster and Woot and all these like guys that put out a lot of content. It's hard to put yourself out there continuously and have this structure in very unstructured chaos, which is Mechabellum. Like, if the game changes so drastically, right? Every 3 months, it's like a completely new game. And I really appreciate anybody that puts out guides like this. So I hope people take advantage of all of that. I really want to, I've talked to you about this a little bit, but I really want to join you on some of these, and especially for like 2v2 guides, because there isn't much 2v2 content out there for, you know, if you and a friend want to just go trash the ladder, like you can just basically troll everybody and do whatever you want. I know me and you, we could be like super high MMR, but we're memeing all the time, and it's just like a lot of fun. And I feel like that's how Mechabellum should be consumed a lot of the times. It should be that like hard to get composition, but when you get it, it feels freaking good.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's definitely also when you inspire the spirit of exploration in a person, and they're just like, oh, there's something here that I've never tried before, I've tried it and it's failed, but I can see a potential in it, and they want to attempt to do something themselves. Just helping them understand, like, oh, well, if you want to try this is what it goes well with, and this is what it could be good with, and then suddenly the person has a lot more like options. And when you have games that you just find fun because you're being creative, I feel like it inspires you to want to play so much more. So I like it a lot too.
Without a doubt. Dude, thank you for doing that. Really appreciate it. And I hope it grows and grows as time goes on. This is a beautiful game. We're going to move over to the BeastyQT Invitational. It just happened this weekend, as I stated before. It was one of, maybe if not the largest event that Mechabellum has ever produced. Now, there has been a lot of different events that we've done. We've had people like Creparian, we've had people like Grubby, we've had people like, I don't know if you guys know him, but Dark Carrot over in China. A huge amount of influencers that were supposed to eclipse everything that we do for a while. Even the Dreamhaven announcement, I don't know if I mentioned that. All pale in comparison to this last weekend. It was the BeastyQT Invitational. Let's see if I have... Come on, Andre. Oh, it's a slideshow. My bad. Come on.
It definitely was super fun, though. It was sick.
But it was the BeastyQT Invitational. Oh no, Vibo, I cut you off. I'll fix that.
Oh, it's okay. I'll sit over here.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. So it was the BeastyQT Invitational. It was honestly, it was a big event. There was a ton of different streamers. I think we had like 30 to 40 different streamers play in this event. There was a ladder portion. There was a team draft portion. There was a double eliminations portion. There was so many different factors of this festival. But I want to get your opinion. Why do you think, it turned out so well? Why do you think that so many people were watching? I think at one point, Mag1 had 12,000 people, 12,000 viewers watching the channel.
I feel like it's just the format actually of doing a private ladder, which is for like 6 hours. They gave everyone that was playing just a private access code to get to a server where everybody would then queue up ladder games. But for that 6 hour period of time, you would only play people that are in this tournament with you. So it was fun, just like at your pace, grinding games, not having to wait around for a show match. Or even though show matches are great and those happen later on, just like being able to play as much or like grind it out as much as you want. I feel like that was a really fun experience. And every game you're playing, you're seeing someone who's in the tournament. Like each game could be a show match in itself. That was a really fun experience because it was like a speed run of seeing everyone really fast, and it was so cool. And then the format structure of like the tournament we had with like the clan war format, I loved it so much. I love rooting on your teammates. Like nothing gets people together more than grouping up and being like, how are we going to beat that group? And everyone's like practicing together, everyone's talking strategy, everyone's trying to just like become a team. And it's so much different when you play this game when you're representing your team versus when you're just playing by yourself. And I feel like I love the format of that, and it just gives the each game just so much more meaning and value. I feel like it's so fun.
I do too. I love the team aspect of it as well. I felt like that was one of the coolest situations where you get to well, let me explain how it works. At the end of the ladder session, there are captains that are drafted, and then those captains pick players. Now, I didn't know many of these players because a lot of them were Age of Empires people, but I did become a captain, which is cool because I finished first in the ladder, of course. And
Of course.
of course, I mean, but just meeting new people that have this like inquisitive mindset about the game, and you see them in real time asking questions that are just like the perfect questions. I don't think people realize sometimes your questions are as important as the answers, right? So it's not necessarily like, why am I losing? It's, what is the purpose of why you put this here? Or what is the purpose of why you got this unit or unlocked this unit?
One of my favorite things you guys said on the cast was, I think Katz was the one who asked it, where he's talking about how do you define the difference between a defensive and aggressive? And like everyone's answers about just like talking about what they think about that is really interesting. It's really cool to see how different perspectives of how people think about strategy kind of work out, even though it's kind of like it culminates into the same cohesive thing with everyone.
Yeah, Katz, for those of you that don't know, is an old school StarCraft 2 player, even StarCraft Brood War player. He used to play on the Peruvian national team in StarCraft Brood War, so he has a long history of not only a competitor, but a team owner, and now a game creator. Katz probably asked some of the greatest questions as someone coming into Mechabellum, and you saw him rise up in the ranks. So there was one of these guys here, his name was your bro Chris, was considered the guy to maybe challenge me, and by the end of the ladder, Katz was beating him, and Katz was starting from like 0 about 2 weeks ago. So it was incredible the speed in which that he was learning. Were there any other huge storylines that came out of the weekend that you think people should know about?
I like State's run as well. I mean, I love State, and I'm happy he crushed it so hard. I didn't actually see the Vicky games, but I hear everyone talking about how good Vicky was. So, because I think I was actually like practicing with Pi at that time or something.
Vicky was pretty incredible. So, okay, let me backtrack for everybody. You can come back in time with me. We're on the invitational side. We've just gone through 2 days of ladder, and we are now here on Saturday, and we are watching a show match between, I don't know, maybe it was Sunday. It was Sunday, I'm sorry. So we're watching not show matches, we're in a tournament. So this tournament graphic, let me pull it up for you. Hold on. This was the bracket. So guys, you can see this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Sorry, I'm covering our faces. State first played against Vicky, and I played against Deniskia. Vicky had a huge upset against State. So State is considered, after the ladder section, considered the second best person by far. Like, he was crushing everybody. I think he got all the way up to like 2200 or 2100 on ladder. So he's already like a very powerful player. And he goes and plays against Vicky, and immediately, like, I think he thought that he was just going to roll her. And then Vicky comes out of nowhere, has some suboptimal plays, but has some like really cool insights where she just is able to clutch things out. He wasn't able to deal with the Abyss, and eventually she pulls off a game win. They go to the losers bracket, and immediately that first game, it's a best of 3 in the losers bracket, she beats him immediately. So he's on just match point the entire time. He ends up pulling off the win, but it was freaking close. And Vicky, out of nowhere, like, she gave me a little bit of trouble in my game, and I was like, who is she? I know who she is, but like, where the heck did she come from? Like, nobody really expected her to do well, or expected her to make a splash. And then she might have been like one of the biggest dark horses of the weekend.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's when no one's expecting anything, you just surprise everybody. Like, oh my god, you're actually insane at this game. It's always a cool experience.
I love that. I love Vicky. I love the whole State experience. I really think that we need some sort of best of 3, best of 5, best of 7 between you and him, because I don't know if you heard me on broadcast, but there were multiple times where I'm like, Vibe is trying to prove a point, and he's just like trolling him with units that are supposed to be countered by State. He's just trying to flip the switch on a lot of these stories.
I can tell you exactly what my brain was thinking when it was like there was a deployment module and there was redeploy, and I was just thinking like, all right, I'm just gonna put every time I put something in the front, like my rhino and my marksman, it was like a nice setup for this. I was like, I'm gonna find the pocket every time, and I'm gonna run between it and paralyze the tower. So two chaff squads, I'm gonna go between it, squeeze through the hole. That's what I was kind of trying to make happen and make the most cinematic paralyze I could ever do, and it spelled disaster.
You
I got
guys,
destroyed.
maybe we need to go back and re-commentate this together. That would be really cool. You
Uh,
had some of the weirdest games I've ever seen. He did a turn 2 hacker play. Um,
exactly. That's what I shoved the guy in the front.
you decided you were a marksman specialist, and you decided to put the level 3 marksman all alone on the opposite side when you were both asim. And you're like, this marksman's gonna crush. Of course, you assault moded, but it's like, hey, don't leave him to dry. Just like give him some support, please.
He predicted my moves here.
He did. I think he was stream cheating for sure. I can't stream cheat. What?
No, I wanted to. There was like angles where I was like, if I take this, I was looking for those paralyzes, and I was looking for just like my flavor that I've really been running a lot lately, just to like go forward regardless of whatever counters, just like find a way.
Sure.
And mobile beacon is usually the way, but it was too much.
Dude, I mean, it was a really fun game, don't get me wrong. But part of me was like, Fibu, be careful with
Don't
this.
worry. I got the ultimate weapon Wasp coming out at the end of the game.
You guys were talking mad smack talk against each other beforehand too. I think I have it pulled up. Was there any like did you have remorse a little bit about the game? Like, I know obviously State is a good competitor in and of itself, but
I didn't have any remorse. I heard State say, "Oh, you gave me vibe. That's an easy win." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." But and then after the series was over, I just thought, at least I'll always have WCS America. No, I had a good time. It was really fun, and State's insanely good. I actually underestimated him a little bit, to be honest. I know he's like, when I play against him, I know he's insane. I know he's really good, and I know he's also really good just from previous experience, because I've known him for over 10 years in StarCraft and everything. So I know what he's capable of, and I know he's insane. But I was like, I want to, like, State also does, I don't know how much he actually watches like constantly, but I know he does frequent. He says hi every once in a while on the stream. So I know he's a vibe enjoyer. And I was like, I'm going to make him enjoy this Rhino and these assault marksmen really bad. But yeah, it didn't quite go that way.
I mean, look at it. You got your S tier unit right away on round 2.
You have no idea how excited I was. I was so happy.
Look at this. You're just like, these two are going to be heroes right now. I got a level 3 marksman all the way on the side, and I have a rhino drop. There's no way that these two can't solo the entire army.
This is what I was thinking. I was like, he's going to deal more with the left, and I was like, he's going to definitely respect my marksman over there. He's going to respect my tarantulas. That tower is going to get pressured. Maybe he extends more to the left. And I was like, oh, my assault marksman's just going to run up, knock out those stormcallers. My rhino's going to run up, just dodge missiles and knock out those fangs and eventually just get through and kill it with the marksman. And we're going to paralyze, and we're going to be smooth sailing. And then I'm going to get some extra support here on the right side, only to now find myself running away playing defensive after I've invested into this.
I mean, he hard countered you. There's nothing else to it. He just tried to hard counter you. He's a dirty scum. I would love, though, for there to be some sort of best of 5, best of 7. I'm willing to host that vibe. So if you're down,
I'm always down. I think, in my opinion, of show matches, regardless of how you could put me against the best player in the world, and I would be like, I'll play, because I think it's just fun, just seeing how well you can do, and also just like have a good time.
No, I want you to make State cry. I want you to make, like, if he's one person, okay, and I'm not trying to be toxic here, but he's one person. If you made him uninstall, I would be so happy.
I wouldn't. I want him to stay, but I want him to feel bad. No, I'm just kidding. But I would totally play him.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll try to set that up. I'll see what he's doing these days. I'll make a little. We'll do a Mechabuzz a Mechabuzz, I don't know what it's called, Invitational, Mechabuzz series, just go ham with that. And get it back. You have to run it back. There's no way
Yeah,
that
let's do it.
he can't give you a little bit of action afterwards. Um, anyway, I love the BeastyQT Invitational. I know that we caught a little bit of flack. I don't know if you saw this because you don't really pay attention to like the forums and all that stuff. But me and you actually caught a little bit of flack because a lot of people were saying like, "Hey, why are Vibe and Greytorp doing a private ladder? These guys are already top of the ladder inside of Mechabellum. Should they be playing with all these like newcomers?" I have a lot of thoughts about that, but what did you think about that?
I think my thoughts are it just happened to be a happy accident that we were already good at the game, because the whole point of it was to bring back RTS Legends and like bring back some StarCraft community people, bring in some Age of Empires community people, and being excluded from the fact that we had a StarCraft background just because we already played the game. I think it's more about what the tournament was about rather than the skill level of the people that were in it, even though that just happened to be a lot of new people in the game, which is really cool too, because it's also a good measurement to see like basically RTS players can be insane at video games. These guys are also like former champions. A lot of them have like titles and stuff under their belt, so they can pick up a game really fast, and you got to see they can even still like hold their own here and there, even versus people that have been playing for a long time. People pick up the game so fast. I totally understand that we have an advantage in like time investment, but I think the heart of the spirit of it is just like StarCraft, Age of Empires, etc. representation.
So that's the big part of it. I really felt like, look, we could have gone in there for every single thing and just try hard moded.
Yeah.
If you looked at any of our games, me and you both, we did not try. Trying is such a difficult word in Mechabellum because obviously there's not like
Yeah.
a huge executional part of this. But if we really try harded, you would have, I think, seen us streamline a lot of the builds that we were going. And I had a Mass Fang game. I had a 3 upgrades Sabertooth game. I had a boat game. Like I just played literally everything. I had a turn 1 boat game where I sold and got a boat.
Yeah, that's I feel like same. There was a lot of games where I'm just like trying to make rhinos work out. I went assault marksman almost the entire tournament as well. I'm like so obsessed with assault marksman right now, just like sending it with assault marks nonstop. It is it's just it really is just about having fun as well. Like we're trying to just get the spirit of the game out there, and the more people we reach, the better off we are, because the more people that play, the more people that get to enjoy the game.
That's right.
So I totally understand.
Back in the day, I don't know if you guys have been in an esports scene or have been part of teams, but in StarCraft 2 in particular, teams and clans, whatever you want to call it, were very, very big. You had this clique, and that clique kind of defined what type of gamer you were. Now, there are different styles for sure, but there were certain teams where it's just like you're all cheese whizzes, right? There's like evil geniuses that were like the premium-ish, but there were a little bit of characters there, right? There was the quantum gaming that were okay, they're just gonna forgate you and play nonsense. You just had that 6 jacks or whatever it might be.
Hell yeah. You know what people called me?
What?
I was Six Jacks, and people called me Six Dicks Gaming. I was like, "What do you call it? What?
Yeah,
what did I do to you?"
It's because you would plug all the holes into, you'd find everybody's hole and plug them. So that's great. But what I was gonna say is there were so many days in a row where you would just go on Ventrilo, or at that time it was Skype, I think was really big. So you go on Skype, it would be a giant Skype call with like 6, 7, 8 people, and you just sit there for the entire day. What do you do when you come home from work? You literally just join the group on Skype and you hang out with everybody and you talk. And what I felt from the Invitational was that the feeling of, hey, it was the 4 of us. It was me, you, Anatoly, and Pi. for
Yeah.
for the drafted section, we were just
Mhm.
chilling on a Discord. It was the commentary team. We were just chilling on a Discord talking. We were shooting the shit. We were just having fun. That's what it felt like. It felt like the old school Mechabellum days, and it really was freaking amazing. I'm sorry, old school StarCraft 2 days. It really felt great. It felt like I was part of my family again. And if I have to say one thing about the people that were giving a shit, it's that bringing that family back together again, having these influencers feel the way that they did, because multiple have reached out to me for coaching, for just like playing games together. I think that is a huge benefit to our community. And I think that we are going to have a lot more of the RTS scene join us, join the Mechabellum team in the future, just because we offered them this format again, this way of connecting, and I think that's really cool.
I think it's cool too. I definitely want to see this kind of a format and this kind of environment only just like grow further. Just get a bunch of just get more and more people interested, and these events can eventually become offline and really just like go all out. It'd be so fun. I look forward to the evolution of it for sure.
Do you think it's possible to recreate this? Like, can we do it again? Does it have to be different? Like, how does it get bigger from here? What is the next BeastyQT Invitational, or is it from a different scene, etc.?
I feel like just, I mean, I guess we could do another outreach where you just like, this one was honestly really fun, and maybe we just get even more people involved next time, just convince more people to join it. That's the more people that join in, the better, especially the more people with like other followings that realize this game exists. Because I really do feel like the only problem with Mechabellum is that people just don't give it a chance. Because I also was the same way, and everyone I talk to that hasn't given a chance is usually like, I've heard of it, but someone I know plays it, and I just never played it, and I just forgot about it. Because as soon as people try it, you just get so addicted to it. So just, I don't know. I feel like just running more events, getting more people involved. Anyone that has a community, tell your friends about the game. Try to get more people involved, because, and also if you're someone who does not watch the tournament broadcast, or if you weren't able to watch it, maybe go back and check it out, because if another one fits the schedule of you being able to actually catch it, just physically watching it was a good time too. It just being a part of it, it feels like the game is more than what it is. It's like a higher level version of what like the Saturday tournaments and the Wednesday tournaments are inside the game already, like the automated stuff, just bringing everybody together. So I feel like online specifically right now for a while is probably what we're looking at, but just keep putting events on and try to make people happy and grow it.
I think that is the next evolution of Mechabellum outreach, I guess, which is once we get the access to have tournaments, like home game tournaments. I don't know what you would call them. In the poker world, they're just called home games, right? It's cool. Like, it's just your community. You can host your own tournaments. Imagine that we have the Mechabuzz community, and I'm able to put, $100 on the line, or whatever it is, like cool skins. I'll buy them for you. I don't know exactly, but imagine I'm able to do that, and we're able to propagate these type of tournaments all the time. I think that would be a really, really cool feature. Hopefully that gets done in the future one day. Yeah, I think it would be monumentally transformative.
More people getting involved in running and putting on tournaments, and people participating, and also giving people like reasons to get excited. Like I feel like if there was like, I don't know, I mean, the more representation this game gets, the more teams that start showing up in this game, and the more like people can actually root for the team they like and like become part of those communities as well. I feel like definitely can make it really interesting as well.
Do you think it makes sense for a team league inside of Mechabellum, something like what we did on Saturday? So it's just teams of 4, teams of 5. That's all that you can have, and you
I love it.
Yeah,
I feel like just to make like there could be formats that make it easier for people's schedules, like it could be replay casting, stuff like that. But I do think like if you wanted to have everyone playing their own matches, but I do think if there was like an all kill format as well, those are, to me, are the most hype types of events, because you could have such star players come out of those where you're like, wow, this guy's like unkillable a game after game after game.
Yeah.
And you know, you just have like ace match. I think ace matches are also super exciting. I think anything that just like creates these like moments of tension in competitive play where someone can just like shine super bright and just crush everything is some of the coolest memories I feel like I even have for StarCraft back in the day, and I would love to see that in Mechabellum.
One of the
again.
most popular styles that you talked about just now briefly, it was you have 4 1v1 players from one team and 4 1v1 players from another team, and it's basically King of the Hill.
Yeah.
So the most interesting times were when it's like 1 versus 4 and you just get a clean sweep. And the other interesting time when it's 1 versus 4, but it's the last person and it's called the reverse sweep, right? Those were always the most hyped times. It's like, oh man, we saw that so many times in StarCraft 2 in the Korean leagues. They happened for our teams too. I know there were like smaller leagues that we would enter. This is back in my Fnatic days, where, you know, I would go first, I would kill the first 3, and then we got swept by one person. I think it was actually it's Gosu. Was it?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Possibly. I don't remember either. There's so many.
It was so long ago.
Yeah.
By Namcheer. Namcheer reverse sweeped us.
Oh no. He's like the same build every time. He's like, I'll get you again.
Dude, those are epic days. Anyway.
They were, man.
I think, man, I have so many ideas for Mechabellum. I want to find a way to like activate these because I know I don't have the bandwidth to be able to do it. But if I can give, like, one of the things that I haven't really announced yet, but one of the ways that I want to use my prize pool from this weekend is to just put it back into the community somehow. I would love to fund some sort of tournament league, whether it's teams for below 1,500, you know, the grassroots almost, right? I would love there to be some sort of step tournament system where players could rise up and also get rewarded at the same time. And whether that money comes in the form of we get you like really cool skins, or I just hand people money, or it's keyboards and I don't know what it is, but I would love to come up with that system where people have the same resources that we did when we grew up in esports.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think it's having the just like making it easy for people to also feel included too themselves, which I think is a great way to get people interested, because I feel like you can also gain a ton of appreciation from watching competition if you've also been in it yourself. You have a lot more relatability to it, and I feel like there is also a super special experience when you're watching your boy, your friend, play in a match and you're rooting for them so much because you want them to win because they're representing you and them, and just having that experience of just like having the camaraderie to come together. I feel like that's really cool. I love that format so much.
Yes, definitely so. And Emrak has been talking in chat right now about the mini masters. The Mecha mini masters is going on. I think it just wrapped up. But Emrak, you can fill me in if I'm wrong. And it's starting up again. They have bracketed MMR systems, which is something very similar to what I'm talking about. I've actually been in talks with Clint, the organizer, but it's just been here and there. But I'd really love to basically, add fuel to the fire of that. I want to make sure that this community gets more support as much as possible, and I would love to figure out more ways that I can do that. And Emrak said just finished the co-cast between Nathanius and Apuchi. That's freaking awesome too. If you guys don't know who Nathanius is, he's like one of the goats inside of StarCraft 2 for casting in particular. If he's getting into Mechabellum, that's amazing. Apuchi, obviously, probably one of the top 5 501 players. I believe he's 501. I just assumed, but he's one of the top 501 players, maybe even like top 2, something like that. He's one of the best players for sure in the world. Amazing. Oh, hi Apuchi. Good to see you. I have a tremendous amount of respect for his game style, and to be clear, I think I have maybe like 1 win on him, and he's killed me like 30 billion times. So I don't have to sell for him.
I mean, same with me. I'm like, I beat him once, and
actually, he's terrible. I want to see him in the caster booth. That's it. Not on the ladder. Anyway, if you guys don't know, please reach out to Amarak for the mini masters. I know he posts on, or there are people that post on Reddit Mechabellum. You guys can check out more information about the mini masters over there. I'm gonna link up with Clint. I'm gonna link up with Amarak after this, and I'm gonna find some ways to properly, you know, whether it's donating to the prize pool or finding some way to get more infrastructure over whoever wants to commit time to this stuff. Okay. Any closing thoughts about the BeastyQT Invitational before we move on to our third segment?
I'm just excited about what it's going to evolve into. I feel like I'm excited for more. It was so fun.
I hope we see more StarCraft 2 people. I've already been hit up a couple of times, as I said before, about some of the content creators. I've been getting more and more messages. Are you the real Grey Torp from StarCraft? That's been really cool.
No, it was so many people asking, is this the real one? Is this the real one? Of like all these people I was playing in ladder. I was like, yes, it is. This is an invitational.
No, but
That's
even
so cool.
in regular ladder, 2v2s and stuff, or free-for-alls, I've been getting that a lot more, and that's freaking cool, man.
That's awesome.
Like, these are people
that's
that
so sick.
obviously haven't been in the scene that long. Also, yeah, I mean, it's so cool. Anyway, we're going to move over to buildings right now. Guys, there is so much to talk about with buildings. I don't even know where to begin, but I will preface this by Vibe and I did get a chance to play with them. We went on the test server. We played a couple of games together. I didn't have a ton of time during that session, but we did get, I think, 2 or 3 quality games in where we were just on call talking ad nauseum about all the things that we're figuring out. I put together a list of just some of the things, just a very small amount of things where you can kind of see how everything is working. But Vibe, I want to get your initial reactions, then we'll go into the nitty gritty of the buildings, the new buildings that are coming this Thursday, I do believe. How do you feel about it? Is aggression dead?
First impressions are aggression definitely has some different stuff that's going on now. Because like just an example of something you'll experience with buildings is you'll think you're going to paralyze a tower and there's a cannon that's going to kill you instead. or you get stuck on the cannon and then you get paralyzed before you actually hit the tower. Stuff like that does happen, but I love it, honestly. I feel like it's a big switch up in early game in Mechabellum, and it's definitely going to be like a lot of new exploration of just things you can do. I already think it's like Mechabellum's like an onion, and the first layer is just learning the buildings, and the second layer is learning how I can use mobile beacon with these buildings, stuff like that. So I'm excited to explore these buildings, guys. They were actually really cool. There's like a big cannon and a small cannon. They both have a reload, so they don't just continuously fire. So you do have moments where like they're reloading to like be able to like not be punished by them so hard. There was a lot of things too we discovered throughout testing, which we'll talk about, that made them feel a little bit more manageable, but they do feel powerful, and I like that because I think it's going to be fun to explore what they can actually fully do.
Okay, oh no, I lost you. I'm sorry. Let me bring you back. So one of the things that I noticed was that, let me just start off with 140 range with these turrets, these buildings. 140 range is really freaking far. There are no units that start with 140 range.
No, marksman. Exactly.
I'm sorry. Exactly 140. Yeah. I should say no units that start with more than 140 range. Your turn rounds 1, 2, 3. When you don't have range, everything is going to get hit with this by this stuff.
I didn't mean to correct you, but we've been playing trivia, so.
Hey, that was very astute. Very, very astute. So what do you think about the range? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like, what does it mean for the game?
I like it. I like to play around it. It seems fun. I feel like you definitely have to, you're going to be getting hit by it for a bit, but while you push into it, so whatever is pushing into the cannon you need to make sure like it's not compromised. So you do need to think about maybe putting things like, let's just say you put a marksman on the very front of your push. Maybe not, because it's going to die to the tower. It's a very high chance it could get traded out pretty fast. So I feel like you just got to, like at first, respect the cannon a little bit. Maybe this means you do have to clump your army more. Maybe now the spreading out is less effective. But then also, if you're playing aggressive, but if you're playing defensive, maybe spreading out's a little easier. Maybe you can actually utilize the towers a little bit more. So I feel like 140 is nice. I do feel like I want it to feel powerful in the early game, and I feel like I want it to drop off a little bit as the game goes. And as far as I know, the turrets don't gain stats over time. I was really curious if they would, and since they don't, I feel like it's not that crazy as it goes.
They definitely fall off really fast.
Yeah.
I felt like in the beginning they're almost too strong, right? If you go to the beginning, one of these clips, actually, let me take a look at this, because I think it's like right in the beginning here. You can take a look at, nope, where is it? I'm looking for it, guys. Hold on. Somewhere in here, it's dealing damage to us, like a saber tooth.
Oh, I think you maybe just skipped it right there.
Yeah, I might have skipped it. Anyway, it is a surprising amount of damage how much it puts onto a saber tooth in that early game stage. But then after that, as soon as you get into mid game, or you get to like level 2, your saber's just like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. It's able to just weather the storm.
From what I remember,
go ahead.
You had from what I remember, you had the cannon, the artillery cannon, the big single, like the one that's anti-ground only. That thing with a full, just like slotted ammo, and when it has to reload, it got the saber down to like 20-30% health. So the saber's almost dead on the entry of the fight by the time that thing's out of ammo, and that thing has like a 3-second attack speed. So we're talking like a good 18 seconds or something like that to just fully unload itself on the saber.
There are 2 different turrets, just to let you know, and walls. The turrets are not always the same. So you can get one of, let's say, 4 different, it depends on how you look at it, but one of 4 different ways that you get the turret set up. So you can have 2 anti-chaff turrets. You can have 2 anti-big unit turrets that can't big cannon damage, or you can have one of each. And obviously it's the sides, so it could be symmetrical on the sides, on the line, or it could be symmetrical on the cross diagonal, right? So my anti-chaff cannon could be facing the big one, and vice versa. And then the walls could be on either side, but generally we saw they were only on one side.
Yeah.
It made for... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, they definitely feel like early game, they can be pretty impactful. Like there was another example where I just was mentioning how the anti-big unit cannon almost killed the saber in 1 round of ammunition, whereas the anti-chaff turret, it almost killed a fang pack in 1 round of ammunition. It was like the majority of or like more than half the fangs were killed just with 1 little round of shots there. So they're pretty impactful right off the bat for the first couple rounds for sure.
Yeah, I thought they killed a lot, man. They really did. One of the
they reload.
One of the scary yeah, that's true. But one of the scariest things to me was how much damage that it did after I thought the round was over. So I should preface this. As soon as all of your units are dead, the match is over, right?
Yeah.
But if you had like crawlers on the other side, you know, so many times we're protecting against one side, our opponent isn't, and you just have this like waiting period. But now I shove crawlers on the other side, my opponent goes into, or you went into my other turret, and there were so many times where my turret just cleaned you up, even though I had crawlers that would never win against your army. Yeah, that was crazy to me.
Just imagine your crawlers paralyze a tower. Even if you like get through the first turret and like that's the only thing over there, and you actually paralyze the tower, you're on your way to the other tower, and you're like behind where the push is happening with the big fight in the concave, and your crawlers have nothing defending the tower, and they're running at it, and they just get knocked out by the other turret, and they're all dead. And you're like, well, I almost flanked that tower. So that does happen now. You definitely have to like more power is needed to have things like that be effective now. So the turret can definitely prevent paralyzes. It's the paralyzed preventer, for sure.
We also saw, obviously, from the videos, you guys can see that missiles are going to directly impact the walls, the turrets. So if you put units very close to that turret, it can instantly get sniped. But it's interesting because the missile doesn't go off just on the wall itself, right? So if I put a missile right in front of the wall or a missile right in front of the turret, it's not going to lock on. It's not going to draw aggro to those units.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest things we were looking at, was like the interaction of units to walls and how things work. And luckily, walls and turrets are destructible. So like, if you have like an orbital bombardment, you're going to be hitting those things. And if you have something like a missile device, it actually ignores the walls at first. They're not like a unit, but if a unit is within radius of them and runs into it, just like you're seeing on screen, it just detonates the walls with the AoE radius of the missile, because like the fangs baited it out right there. So it's really cool to see that you can actually deal with them quickly if you want to rush them down and like get rid of them instead of making them be a blockade for a second.
Yeah, there are so many, like, we weren't able to test everything. I would love to figure out more things about how the wall interactions actually line up. Another interesting part about the turrets, though, was that as soon as the turret reloads, you can see right here, but there's no other units, it actually changes targets. So it has a moment to change targets, which is really good for the rapid fire cannon.
It is, for sure. There's that, like, and yeah, both cannons also, like, anytime a reload happens, it's just like retargeting to whatever's closest to it. So sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. But yeah, like Greater was saying, for the rapid fire cannon, that's amazing. So you're always like getting another chance at killing chaff if it's getting close.
I wonder if there's ever going to be a unit called like the engineer, and all he doesn't have an attack, but all he does is runs up and then makes one of these turrets, and then makes another turret as soon as it's done, and then it's, I don't know. I'm just my brain is going right now. Just have 7 engineers building all of these turrets, trying to tower push your opponent. I don't know.
What if there was an ability on it where it's like a channeling effect where you can upgrade it, and now if it's like a melting point hitting the turret, but it raises the damage of the turret over time or something like that. Like, it just makes it better. It just evolves if it lasts longer.
I would love it. Honestly, I would love it. There's a lot of really cool. There's a lot of really cool things I think that can come out of the turrets. But let's just talk about a couple of the other things that we found out. Another thing is that there's no XP that is gained from the turret. So if you kill it, you don't get anything. If you kill the walls, you don't get anything. We weren't able to check whether or not, if a turret kills something, where that XP goes. Do you remember that or not?
I think we tested like if units get XP for doing it, and we got nothing. But I didn't see, like, let's say there's one unit left on the board and the turret gets the kill. Did that unit consume it like it was a spell? I'm not sure. I actually don't know that.
I think that would be very interesting, because that might be a nice like balancer. Like, if you're gonna over rely on the turret and it kills a lot of stuff, it's gonna also take away XP from you. So that could be very interesting. Were there anything else? Oh, we saw the mountain just walk over.
We tested. Yeah, it was cool. There was a play where we were like, the turret's really close to the tower, so I was trying to just see if you could walk through it, or if the unit would like how it interacts with the tower and walk around it. So if it's a really big unit like a war factory or a mountain, I specifically chose a mountain, if it would have to like dislodge itself and like get stuck on the tower a bit and have to take a while to get around it, but it physically just walked directly over it. It had 0 problems. So they aren't like, I don't know. I still wouldn't be confident to say like a crawler could walk through it. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No. So I put
right there.
I put crawlers behind the turrets, and they split. So they split just like a regular tower. So you can use them like that. I do think it's interesting that giants also don't walk over the turret. So it's only those massive units. I don't know what the heck happens with the war factory though. If a war factory, we didn't test that. There's so many things we have to test. We just didn't have enough time.
You definitely have, especially with the walls, if you're someone who plays aggressive, you'll feel a lot more congestion in your aggression now, in terms of like unbuildable terrain with the little, like, it's almost like having like 2 sledgehammer squads in that spot and like having like a scorpion behind it, in terms of like just stuff blocking you. So you're gonna have to like definitely build around it a little bit. And if you're somebody who likes to build super tight, you know, that it could get in the way a little bit. But I don't know. It's interesting though, thinking about like everything that it can like hurt as well, where it just blocks you yourself on your like on your own units. But they do burrow though, right? They always go down when you drive over it, like the walls at least.
When you go over it, yes, that
Yeah.
is correct.
Okay.
You cannot build on top of the walls, though. So if obviously they go down so that your crawlers or whatever units can go through it. But if you wanted to, let's say, put a factory in that place, if the walls are there, you're not getting it through. It
Yeah.
leads to a lot of congestion, I noticed. And we'll talk about this because congestion is going to be a problem. We were just playing normally. Like, we weren't trying to kill each other super fast or anything, but we were
Yeah.
playing not standard. Like, I was still shoving aside. We got all the way to round 12. And I was like, wait, I have never been to round 12 in any of my ladder games. Like, this is a 1%er type of situation. Why are we in round 12? And I reversed
like Tuesday to me.
Yeah. I reverse engineered it, and I realized that the towers, because they were eliminating so many units in that beginning phase, and they were discouraging a lot of situations where it was just like sweeps, right? Because normally you kill a tower, and then you're gonna kill the other tower, you know, and then you're gonna get a lot of damage on your opponent. Well, the walls slow things down. The turrets slow things down. The turrets kill things. Now all of a sudden, there's not enough damage being done in the early game, in the mid game. And what we're seeing is that the late game opens up a lot, and we have to start preparing for a lot later on. It worries me, Vibe. It worries me a lot.
Yeah. I love a good scale, so I'm going for round 20. I don't mind it. My strats are always going for round 20.
All of a sudden, we're gonna see Vibe with like EMP on his wasps. He's gonna have everything. Everything has elite marksman.
I'm looking for 6 units with quad tech and a full board of them.
I just to let people know, I had a level 8 I always forget, saber by the end of the game.
Yeah.
And what was really annoying is Vibe ended up hacking it for the win. I don't know how he got it, but he hacked it. That level 8 had it had photon, it had what's
It
called
regen
healing.
as well.
Yeah,
you were healing.
It had +2 defense. Like, it was a tank. It was huge. I had a lot of stuff supporting. The fact that we even got to level 8 is crazy to me. And then the fact that you hacked it is also really annoying. But
it was a problem for me all game, so I wanted to make it a problem for you.
It does just show you, though, that when we're getting to these round 12s, you have these stupid walls that do literally nothing, and you want to put something important in those spots. Like, they're normally in places that you want stuff to be. And now all of a sudden, the walls are there, and it's like, War Factory there. I can't fit my Abyss there. These are prime spaces for those units, and you just can't anymore. And it makes it really weird.
It does. I feel like maybe more... I don't know if like... I mean, I don't know how everyone feels about it, but I might go through a phase where I try more like siege style. Like, people call it standard, I call it siege. Like, I'm not running in the line right away. I guess I'm sieging. So I don't know. I might end up doing more styles like that with walls and with turrets here. I definitely think it's going to bring back my love for arc lights a little bit. If you're an arc light lover, this might be your meta for walls and turrets, baby. I feel like it definitely makes that style a little bit better in the early game to grow and develop.
Okay, real quick, Apuchi just said that walls are now sellable. So that would be very interesting in response to the congestion. I would assume that you just sell them for no money. Else, I would always be selling them if they actually gave me money. But, you get 50.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I feel like that just slows down the early game then. If like the play is to just eventually recycle it and get out of there. So okay. I don't mind that either overall.
I don't either. The cells do now all of a sudden become a lot bigger of an issue. Like, when do you sell them? What rounds do you sell them? Do you have the amount of cells possible? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes there are some games where between all the drops that I get and just needing to switch around, I'm like, I need another cell. Like, I don't
Too.
care if it's like a 50% cell. I need another cell because I need to get units out so I can get these like 3 tech units in or whatever it might be. Having to have whatever it is, 2 extra turns or 3 extra turns of cells, you really need to plan out your cells.
Yeah, get that round 1 typhoon in.
Oh my. Well, you know what you can't do anymore? You can't do round 1. Oh, maybe you can. I was gonna say you can't do round 1
Overlord?
Overlords, but maybe you can. It's minus 200 still, right? With a giant
No,
spell.
but an Overlord's 250, right?
Oh,
It's
yes,
so you're
yes,
still
yes,
having
yes.
to pay that extra 50.
Yes, that's right.
So you can only resupply out to 4. So you'd have to sell and resupply to get a boat.
Okay, but let's talk about the Titans. I've been complaining about the Titan meta. I have lost a lot of MMR because I refuse to just go mass Titans. Today I got smacked up to there's a guy on the ladder that just goes like turn 4 war factories, and he just goes like production war factories, whatever. And I'm trying really hard not to go Titans myself. Sometimes you have to, but okay. Anyway, it's Titan meta right now. I personally am not a huge fan of this. They increased the Titan purchase cost to 350. Is this the path to fixing the Titan meta?
I think so. I think it's if it's not going to be the final answer, I think it's a good branch we're going to go down here, because I think one of the biggest problems that can occur in Mechabellum is how are you spending your money and what's acquirable. And anytime you make something less acquirable for people, it makes it so much harder to weave into your army. Because now suddenly, instead of getting like this power play on round 6 or round 8 or whatever round you're going to be throwing stuff down on, you're just finding it much harder to afford the things you want. And now you're trying to justify, is it really worth it to do this version of whatever I'm trying to do? And you said that, like, or have we talked about, have they gotten rid of upkeep and like entirely on Titans 2 now? So you just like have to also pay the price for upkeep on all of them all the time.
Is that right?
I don't actually, I mean, I heard that might be in the patch notes or something like that, but that's what I heard. Yeah, upkeep is gone. So now you have to justify also paying for them every round. So massing them is also like, you better be like wealthy, or otherwise you're gonna, like, it's gonna be eating all your money if you do it really early.
I mean, I would, to be honest, I would love that. Would I love that? Hold on, let me think. It relegates Titans to be a more expensive gut shot by 150.
So upkeep apparently.
There is no upkeep.
That's what they just said. Yeah, they just got rid of the upgrade and there's no upkeep either.
Oh wow. Okay. Wait. Unlock 150, text 200, removed upkeep. Okay. So look. Oh, text overall is plus 200. So efficient maintenance is effectively clicked.
So it's super expensive now.
Oh.
Yeah, the priciness is just crazy. I think this is just incentivizing like a Godzilla Titan meta where it's like you have one on your board or something like that.
Very interesting. Okay, I actually really like this. I really, really like this.
Same. I think it's cool.
Making the techs more expensive is really important, because there were so many times where if you actually do the math, you don't want efficient upkeep when you build your Titans. You just want the plating, and you can eat the 150 even if it goes 1 round. If it goes over 2 rounds, okay, you're not in a good position. But if it goes 2 rounds exactly, like, hey, you made money by not getting that upkeep. If you got, let's say, range on your War Factor, or range on your Abyss, or Swarm Missiles on Abyss, that's when it makes a lot of sense. Adding it to the unlock, I think, makes a lot of sense here. It just makes it very hard to do those gut shots. You need a lot more money. So this is great. I think this is a great change overall with the Titan meta. I really hope we see less Titans in the meta. But round 12, or let's say right now the average amount of rounds is like 7.4. I
Yeah.
feel like we're going to have average rounds going to be somewhere around like 9, 10, something like that.
I agree. Yeah. I think I love getting strategies off the ground that scale instead of just like evolving and you just transition to something really powerful and just expect game's over, we're dead. So I like that we're gonna have less of an oppressive Titan force, like just being able to come out like that. I think I didn't really mind it. I was also exploring lots of different variations of mobile beacon mountains. It was pretty sick.
Of course,
dude.
you are.
Like I'm happy to play whatever the game is currently. It's kind of how I feel about it. And Mechabellum has not disappointed me yet, and I really feel excited. Like the concepts of like the new Titan evolution of what we're talking about, it does sound really fun too. And I'm a big fan of like not just making a lot of my units that I've started with like useless throughout the game. Like they're basically just chaff at this point. I love just scaling something into the moon. So I'm happy. I like more rounds.
One of the worst feelings that I had from Mechabellum and this Titan meta is you do so much to build your sabers. You do so much to build yours, your marksman, whatever it is. You get level 3 finally, and you're like, God, I'm playing amazing. And then one Titan gets dropped and everything gets eliminated. That freaking stunk. Continuously, I was disappointed in that feeling. I had that feeling today in a couple of my games. I had 3 really crushing sabers that had side gun on it, that were just moving on into my opponent. My opponent drops 1 war factory and they all just obliterate. Another game, my opponent, very similar situation, drops 1 mountain and they all get obliterated. And it's just like they locked onto the mountain, but they weren't able to do enough. And it's brutal.
It is. It definitely makes like a lot of the choices in the other game no longer matter, and it just kind of like crushes through once it comes out sometimes. So I agree.
Is this the end of aggro inside of maybe this season of Mechabellum?
I don't think so. Maybe we just got to flank harder, dude. Maybe we just got to really reach into that flank and just go for that tower across the side.
One of the things that I said to, I think it was Mr. Bitter, but I don't actually remember who it is. I said that corner crawlers or corner fangs are going to become not absolutely in the corner, but put them back down somewhere where the whole battle will conclude. And then you just have fangs that just get to your other turret. And as units walk over, now everything dies. That's just going to be the strategy to do, in my opinion. Like, you'll reduce your losses so greatly by just doing that.
Yeah.
The reason why I think it's harder for aggro is because they don't have a good side, right? Like, do you want to be attacking into the walls and the cannon, or do you want to be attacking into the obvious side where it's open for me and I should be attacking into, but now my opponent knows where that attack is coming? So they can adjust their standard, like just shift their center a little bit over so that they're playing standard. They have their units in better position, but for like the future rounds, but they aren't overcommitting to a side.
Maybe there will be like some version of aggro where you just like try to predict where they're not going to be, and you just rush that side and try to just efficiently kill the turret and the tower, and you just mobile beacon like a crawler on the other side and just have the turret last as long as possible while you're like waste as much time to get shot by the turret as long as you can, and then you paralyze it. I feel like there could be ways around it.
Okay, I want to let you know there's a strategy in Free for All where you mobile beacon 2 crawlers, right? And you just mobile beacon it to one of the sides, and those 2 crawlers will eventually start attacking your opponent's tower, and you get a 50 gold or 50 supply every single time you kill a tower.
Yeah,
it might be something like that where you don't take a full pack, you just get the mobile beacon, take 2 fangs, shove it all the way over to the right, and it's just okay. Every turn is gonna take like the full 180 seconds or however long it is. And you just cry. I mean, this is This is
The
what
way
it
to fix
encourages, right?
all you got to do is just make speed up a forced click, so you don't have to watch it really
Um,
slow.
I almost feel like there should be a setting that's just like a check mark that says like auto speed up when a timer hits 85, and
Yeah,
then you don't have to worry about it.
I agree. I think sometimes it's like the one person's forgetting and you're watching it go so slow, and you're like, oh no, but he would have if he would have just realized.
Okay, so you don't think it's the end of aggro? Is that
I don't think so. Yeah, it's so early. I feel like it's the end of the current version of aggro, possibly. But you can be clever and definitely find new ways. I feel like there will be people that will discover ways to still make aggression work. And who knows, maybe it's now you just honestly are going to try to meta to avoid each other so you can really just like get through the turret like ASAP with minimal resistance.
sure? There's definitely weird interactions with the walls. I know we went through that, where units won't target the walls unless there is an opposing force directly in front of it. So that's a little bit weird. Man, there's just really, really awkward situations.
The best one that was really strange that I feel like people will experience was when Greythorpe and I were playing 1v1, we had a saber versus a saber situation, and my saber should have died like 5 times, but it was like his saber was looking at the wall. It was right in front of my saber. Took a shot, killed the wall. He looks at the next wall, takes a shot, kills a wall.
Yeah.
Looks at the next. I'm over here killing like a hound and another hound, and then finally I look at the saber instead. I get the first shot in the actual duel, and then he kills the other wall and finally gets to fight me. But because he shot the wall so many times and my saber stopped right before, it was just like perfect. Like it was almost like having fangs in front of my saber. So
Yeah.
it doesn't always work like that. Like it just sometimes the walls, if they're in your direct line, they are actually in your way and they'll absorb the hit. But other times, if like something's right next to it, they'll ignore it and just like go for the unit instead.
Yeah. There were so many situations like that where I remember I wanted to kill the walls really quickly, so I mobile beaconed it to range with I think a wraith, thinking that the wraith would just clear it out for all my units and then it would drop back. And the wraith was like, "No, I'm not gonna attack these walls. I'm just gonna drive by." And then finally, like Fangs showed up, and it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you, walls. I'm gonna get you now." And it's like, what are we doing? Like, just kill them right now. Stop waiting. So then the Fang came up in range, and then my wraith started targeting the walls. It's like, what are we doing?
I think for whatever reason, I feel like it's probably if the unit has the means to shoot like something within its range, it will prioritize that. But if nothing's within its range and it's currently on a move command to go towards I feel like it targets things that ignore the wall, but if the wall is the only thing in range directly in that line, it'll shoot at it.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
That's exactly how it works, and it makes for some really weird situations, non-intuitive situations as well. I know that I'm going to tilt a couple of times. Not that I tilt, definitely not me, but I'm going to tilt a lot during this next patch.
Yeah.
Because I'll just know, like, all right, is there really incentive for me to attack into this? Or should I just play, all the way back at the line vibe, just right at my tower and then behind, and that's it. We're going to play standard. We're not going to do anything crazy. We're going to look for 180 to 200 meter range units, and that's all we're gonna make.
Yeah, so it's the rebirth of Vulcan meta.
Yeah. Oh god.
Just Vulcans every game, just like mass fire.
It buffs Vulcans so much. All those hard to get mid game units that you get punished for so often, like the Scorpions, the Vulcans. I feel like we're entering that meta again, and the main reason for that is because you're going to have so much more health left, right? And so if we know we're going to round 10 on average, you look, what is the best composition at round 10? And so, some of it's going to be Titans, although we don't really know Titans because it's very expensive. But then some of it is going to be Vulcan best partner marksman, right? Are we going to see the marksman builds back again? I don't know. I have had a renaissance with marksmen. I do think they're good again. They're
That's right.
situational, but they are
Oh
good.
yeah.
And I think that I would welcome it, but I wouldn't want to stay there too long. Like,
I I already know what I'm seeing in my round 10 board. I'm seeing like 6 Vulcan with best partner with a bunch of assault marksmen with elite marksmen as well. Yo, we got that line
oh
up.
man.
Maybe some Phantom Rays with oil in the front.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm thinking about all this stuff. It hurts, man. It honestly hurts me to think about. There are some things I really do like about this meta with the Titans against Vulcans, because Vulcans are such a huge problem for me, right? Hounds, they get crushed to Vulcans really easily.
Yeah.
And so I have to play the Titan meta. I have to do a lot of change ups. I have a lot of corner strategies. I have a lot of tower kills. You have to paralyze very actively. But if the turret is there and it's killing a lot of the chaff in front, and I have to go through walls, and I have to all of a sudden make sure that I have mobile beacon at a much earlier turn, it's like, man, that's a lot of money to invest just to try to kill them by round 8. Am I going to make it? Brutal. Tough. I am bearish on this patch, Bible. I don't know how it's going to be. I think I have to change my style very, very drastically. Mid-range is going to probably not be as... Thank you, Vibe. I appreciate it. Mid-range probably isn't going to be great, but, the days of me getting to the 24, 25, 2600s, I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it up there again in this meta. It's going to tilt me too hard to play that play style. The standard play. It's standard.
I want to believe, yeah, right? I want to believe that you can still definitely find holes and gaps in aggressive play. And maybe, who knows, maybe we actually see more power swing flank plays because people are just more reliant on turrets more of the time. So like you can do all these weird crafty plays with redeploys and jump drives, and suddenly people are just like falling apart to that a lot more again. You just got to get in the mind of the player. What do they not like right now? Let's play that.
That's interesting.
What does this guy hate? Yeah.
What if,
I feel like people will become lazier.
What if jump drive went back to 50? Would we like that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
50. The only reason why I say that is because I feel like if it's too good, if it's like the Void Eye, like energy absorb type stuff, where it's like you're almost getting a free upgrade at that point, that's so powerful and changes, like it can change early rounds. I don't think the Void. Okay, I see your eyebrows moving. Hold on, I take it back. I just think jump drive. I think jump drive is a much more powerful ability than Void Eyes, but I don't want it to be something that's so like consistently picked by so many people all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. It is a hassle for sure. Man, I just don't know. I think when someone plays standard, right? We've played against these Vulcan players all the time, where it's just like, oh, their turn 2 is exactly the same. Their turn 3 is exactly the same, right? They put fangs in the back, and then they put more fangs in the front, and then turn 4, all of a sudden you have one Vulcan, and then turn 5 you have your second Vulcan. It's like, to me, it's there's still skill to it. There's still a tremendous amount of decision making that you have to make, right? But you just have so much health that they call the best partner Vulcan strategy kind of the Exodia for a reason. It's because it doesn't have like inherent weaknesses, right? It's just an all-around really strong build that you can't really do much if you let them get there. And that was the big question. Can you get to that state? And the turrets are going to make it way easier to get to that state.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I feel like you're more fortified for sure in the earlier rounds. So any build that's going to fortify you further is going to definitely have a buff here.
Yeah. Is this a straight buff to air now? I should mention the heavy damage cannon does not attack air. However, the light one, the rapid fire one, does attack air. What that changes is where wasp swarms will go. What that changes is where the rhino drops go. Normally, round 2, round 3, those 2 drops are like almost a must pick up because it just provides so much tempo. You get instant paralysis. You force people to make moves that they don't want to. They already have a problem generally with round 1, or they have something they have to fix with round 1. So when round 2, round 3 comes in, you always get those, almost. Now you have these turrets that can deal with them pretty well. But, sorry, going back to my question, because we know that the large damage cannon doesn't deal with air at all, is air buffed in that early game in round 2, round 3, round 4?
I feel like it's not, only because I feel like whenever someone does get an airdrop, even though that cannon can't deal with it, they still have less to worry about if the other turret's covered. But if both turrets are like anti-ground, if it's, because that does happen as well, where you don't have either turret be the light shot, whatever, and they're both heavy damage cannons. Now suddenly it's back to how it was before, just with better like anti-ground ability. So I think that air, like for harassing air, I think it's still, it can actually just be reduced. I feel like in terms of like how effective it can be on the board of their space. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, I only have to make 1 squad to defend myself now instead of 2 squads.
So maybe air is just nerfed then, right? Air is generally used as one of 2 things. Number 1, in that beginning stage, it's actually one of 3 things. You got your Wraith for chaff clear. You have your Phoenix for just like all around damage, being safe against everything. And then you got your Wasp for plays, right? Forcing your opponent to play on all parts of the board. For the Phoenix, I think the Phoenix doesn't really change. It's still going to be that all-around unit. For the Wraith, I think its job gets considerably demoted. The reason why is because you're generally going into some sort of turret, right? Like the turret is going to be eating up, or you're competing against the turret, and the Wraith needs to be aggressive. It needs to push forward and have units in front of it always. So that's why it needs to be aggressive. And then the Wasps, you have considerably less space to actually attack, especially if there's a rapid fire cannon there. So,
yeah, exactly.
So you're actually proposing that air is weaker
in the early game, yeah. But I think later on it's fine. Yeah, I think in the early game, I think you'll be looking at like a round 2 Wasp drop when you have no anti-air but 1 light cannon, going, oh, thank God that right tower's covered because I have a cannon over there.
Sure. It scares me, Vibu. All of this scares me a lot.
But I think I do think there's cool parts about it too, where like there's a tempo play where you could, if your opponent has minimal investment and they actually rely too heavily on it, you could just do something like mix something in with the Wasp, and suddenly the cannon's busy while your Wasp are effective again. So yes. I feel like there might be some weird meta play or a tempo play where people are like, I think I know how much you're going to invest because the turret probably can hold.
Interesting. I do think that is going to be the case. We're going to have this false sense of security for sure with the turrets.
Yeah.
It also though gives you all just additional HP. Oh, we didn't even talk about the HP and how much everything has. So let me go into that. I believe the turrets both have around 3,000. One of them has more. So the rapid fire has 3,055 HP. The anti-armor cannon has 3,734 health or HP. And then the walls actually have a good amount of HP. It's 2,030.
Yep.
So
yeah, the cannons have HP comparable like a sledgehammer.
Yeah,
I believe
that's pretty big, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So to just get an extra, what is that? 4 times 2, 8,000 times 2 is 16,000 plus. It's an extra 20,000 HP on the board immediately. And your opponent doesn't get XP from it. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's 22,000 or something. Anyway,
sure.
It doesn't matter. You are very incentivized to get your opponent to try to go through all that HP because, 20,000, 22,000 HP is nothing to snuff at, right? That is 7 marksmen, to be clear. Like, that is a lot of HP.
Do you think maybe this meta could also change things to be more effective? Like, let's say, like suddenly siege mode Scorpion or something like that is suddenly a lot more of an attractive choice because your opponent finds themselves building behind their towers or at the towers, so to rely on turrets. So whenever people play super far back, as long as you have like siege set type stuff, you can really punish people who play like that. Possibly, maybe Siege Mountain suddenly is like amazing.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Siege Mountain, Siege Scorpion. We have to like consider all of these things. Actually, Siege Mountain, is that going to be correct?
I feel like I visualize a person who overemphasizes towers and they build too much in a way where the tower is always going to be in the fight, where like, because the tower can't move, so it's stationary. And when your army approaches it and like the whole fight, the whole concave is happening, if that person finds himself building most things because they're like, oh, I'm immune to flanks, and also I'm also abusing the towers, so I'm just going to have this like really blocked in area. And let's say it's like formidable, let's say it's like a Vulcan build, literally something like that.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're sieging it with like Scorpion double shot or like Scorpion siege, and it's like an actual problem in a different way.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. I think you have a lot of good ideas with that, and it's not something that I've thought about, like changing my loadout very considerably to prepare for people that always play. Look, like generally when I play my board, I am building front to back. So I build my midsection / front line, and then slowly work in the back once I know what I should get. So a lot of times you see stuff like crawlers and hounds in the front, and then you have some tanky units like, let's just say sledgies or whatever they might be, sledgies or sabers. And then finally I'm like, okay, do I want marksmen here to protect? Do I want phoenixes here? You know, like, and then you slowly go backwards, and then it's like, okay, I need more chaff in the back here, etc. Now it's the opposite for a lot of people, or people are incentivized to do the opposite, right? Because you want to take advantage of the walls. So they want to build their back line first. So make sure they get the really long range arc lights. Let's make sure we get really long range marksmen. But now you're saying, well, if people are playing like that, now all of a sudden we have to consider not Stormcallers, I don't think. I know someone said in chat, Stormcallers. I think Stormcallers are a huge trap just because their missiles are so brittle. They can be AM'd very quickly, but things like the Mountain, which cannot be AM'd, things like the Scorpion, which lob like an energy ball or an acid ball over to you. I think that's going to be really, really powerful. I think that's a really good way to look at it, to punish those people that are going to play from the back forward.
Yeah, and there's now suddenly you're looking at those cards that cost 400 and they're like extended all range by 10 and your army, and you're looking to buy those every time.
Yeah.
I remember, the only reason why I bring that up is because we were talking to Pi and you're like, do not take that, never take that.
It's true. Well, it's a nice heuristic for him in particular. 400 is, people don't realize how massive 400
it's huge.
Is, right? Like, it's a complete tech on any one of your units. I would rather you do that. Please. Anyway, sorry, I know we're tangenting a lot. And a lot of, man, we have so many conversations here. I would love to hear a lot of the people in chat too. Sojo, I know you're a very high level Vulcan player. Love to get your ideas about it. Doxson, I know you've had a lot of time on the playtest server. Would love to get your ideas about it. Like, there is so much going on here with this new adjustment. We're seeing that Doxson is saying that aggro still works. The buildings just have too low of HP. I just don't know, man. Like, it's really tough for me to say that 20,000 hit points is just so low. I get that it's easy to get it. You just get 2 packs of sledges, but 2 packs of sledges is still a lot of HP, right? Like, we're still it's 2 packs of sledges, a little bit more, but that is 2 packs of sledges that are just on the board that you have to get through, that don't do any player damage to your opponent, right? That reduce the amount of player damage from your opponent. And that's what I'm targeting in particular. That's why I feel like it's good to play around that, knowing that units will be traded out a lot more aggressively, And when we get that trade out, oh, now I don't have to worry about player damage. When I don't have to worry about player damage, now I can start thinking long term. So I can lose the first, I'm not even kidding, 6 rounds vibe. And then round 7, it's like, okay, well, it was a nice game for you. You're now never going to touch me, right?
Yeah. That's the beauty of scaling for me. And my games are always like when everyone's like, wow, he'll lose the first 6 rounds and start winning. That's usually when it's like, I click the elite marksman button. Something like that. Like, guys, you ready for something beautiful? But
right.
yeah, I don't know.
We are going to move over because I'm already seeing some great questions in the chat. So we're going to move over to the Q&A. One of the things Lepaco said here, should you see the turrets you get before you pick the starter packs? This is an amazing question. I think so too. Right now you can't. But just think about how much randomness there is. Let's say I pick a crawler Mustang pack and there's 2 rapid fire turrets. And you're just like, this is going to be a rough one, you know? Like, we shouldn't be in that situation.
We need some Void Eye.
Yeah, we need some Void Eye in there. We need some tanky, you know, if you go Sledgy and then Hounds, and then there's 2, what are they called again?
Heavy damage is just called that.
Heavy damage. They're called anti-armor cannons. You see 2 anti-armor cannons, you're just like, God dang it, like, this doesn't feel great. I definitely feel like there should be a chance to look at the board before you actually go. But your thoughts, like, do you think that should be hot fixed in, etc.?
I totally think it should. I think that would actually give you more thoughtfulness to like what specialists you want to take, and I'd be curious what they would assume would be better and what would actually have like HP scaling up and HP scaling down as to like, oh yeah, these 2 things are like the most, so like they're going to be harder to use and they're going to punish you a little bit more in the HP of the starter pack. But either way, I feel like it should totally be a choice. I think that would make your choices at the start of the game more thoughtful, because maybe you do actually look at like 2 Mustangs or like the Mustang opener with like crawlers and you see 2 heavy damage cannons and you're like, all right, I could maybe make something crazy with this as an opener and like do something greedy.
I'm going to be devil's advocate right now and say, if you keep it as the way it is, you hide the turns, it induces more randomness into the win rates. It allows weaker players to still have a chance against stronger players, or they don't have to be much weaker, but you know what I'm saying, like better players to lose against worse players. And that is good for Mechabellum, having that variety, coming from behind. You should be able, you know, like an S tier player when you're ahead and an S tier player when you're behind. Your thoughts on that?
I feel like I do think that can exist, and I do think that there can be a lot of thoughtfulness that can just be in there, that someone, if there's a clear strategy that's just like understood and you're like, oh, you have to do it this way because like it's just better. But I do like I could see that being a thing, and it could develop into that if it gets too crazy, and that if it did, I feel like that would make it worse. I feel like that could make it more like lower players feel more oppressed. But I do think it actually adds some cool flavor where like if you know there's one benefit of the cannon and you like it a lot, like you hate wasp swarms, and you're like, oh, I got double wasp swarm killing turrets, and I now have like a lot more control of my towers, so I can be more aggressive now because of that, and I don't have to be as afraid of something like this. I don't know. I feel like that could be interesting. I like it either way. I want to try it either way. I feel like my overall opinion is I don't know enough to really have a strong opinion of it, but if I had to guess, I think my hot take would, or my first gut feeling would be, I would actually think it'd be cooler to be able to customize and pick by what you see. So it's part of like what makes that pack good for you.
Yeah, Soja literally stole the words out of my mouth. He said that Mechabellum already has enough of that upset opportunity inside of the game that we don't have to increase it. I really, really agree with that. And I want to take it to the other side, where what happens when a better player goes up against a worse player, and that worse player is starting from behind because they saw that, they went crawler Mustang into 2 rapid fire cannons and they just never win a single round in that whole thing. That feels terrible. Like that's a very bad experience, I think, for the losing player. So, and I think we want to reduce those situations as much as possible as well. Like, don't get me wrong, variance is good and important in games, but when the losses feel really bad and it feels like you wasted your time, a lot of people will ask themselves, is this something that I want to do? And we have to be very careful and mindful how much we're mining into those situations as the developers.
Yeah, I think I would overall agree, but I think that since this is mostly a round 1 to like round 2 problem, that I think the cannons, I think they could get like, I don't think they're going to control the whole game too hard to the point to where
No, yeah,
I feel like it would be, I think it would actually help a newer player more than it would hurt them, because it would help them from weird like drop stuff and help assist in the little awkward counter flanking. I actually think this makes flanking just a little bit harder overall, which I think a newer player probably hates, because they're like, oh, I'm paralyzed. Yeah. What is going on right now? So no, I don't know.
That is definitely true. Newer players, like, I think feel flanking is very oppressive. At the very least, okay, hear me out on this. I would love a mode. I would like it so that you can see the map, but I would also like a setting where it has things like this, where I can turn it on and off for my custom games. So let's say I want to do something with the community and I want to do a one-on-one, but give you handicaps. So it's like you get to see the board and I don't, you know?
Yeah, that's sick.
I don't get to use crawlers. I never get these amazing drops and you get amazing drops. Like, you know, there's this asymmetricness. I think that would be really interesting. But for regular standard ladder, I think it's really important that we're able to see the board before the starter packs come out.
Yeah, I think that'd be good too. Yeah, because it does like the wall placement and also what turret it's with can be definitely changing on how that would go.
Yeah. All right, well, we've talked ad nauseum about a lot of this stuff, and to be fair, some of this stuff we researched, some of it we are speculating a little bit. A lot of people in chat, appreciate you guys so much for bringing a lot of this information to the forefront. On Thursday, this patch is going to be unveiled to the rest of the community, and we're going to get a lot more time with this. So I've already called Vibe. I said, clear your schedule on Friday. We're going to do emergency pod, and we're going to talk about everything that we find out from the changes. I'm looking forward to it. I have optimism, but I'm also scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm a solid like 6 out of 10 for this patch. 6.4 out of 10 for this patch. I love Mechabellum, so it's not like I'm going to run away from it by any means, but I recognize that my playstyle is going to change, or it's going to feel like it feels like it's going to change very drastically in the next month. If I want to win.
No, I think I'm a 9 myself, 9 out of 10. I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it when the meta gets shifted. I love when everyone's creative and like no one knows what really feels good anymore, and everyone tries to make something work or go to somebody who's doing something they already like. But I do think that I'll have to let it shake out for a little bit, like maybe give it a couple weeks and see how I feel at the end of it. Maybe on that emergency pod, maybe I'll have some emergency feelings about how this is going for myself.
Yeah.
But I really think exploring it sounds super fun. And I would love to see some of the new creative strategies people can come up with. And I love it. I think it's going to be fun.
Listen, Soja brings up another great point. One of the things that Bearlike does really well is listens to the community. Sometimes he ignores it and knows what's best. Sometimes he actually changes stuff back. He definitely is keeping a pulse on the community. And that means that all we have to do is whine a lot. You know, that's all we gotta do.
Buildings.
I hope you guys will join me when we want. No, seriously. It's really cool to have a developer that is so hands-on.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
He honestly shouldn't be. Like, if I were to see what the most game theory optimal is for a person in his position, I'll be like, don't listen to the community. Just do whatever you want to do. Like, you know what's good, what's bad, etc. And you're just going to get a lot of noise from everybody. and you're not going to know what like the actual throughput is. But he's just like, nah, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to go on podcasts. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to take everything head on, and I'm going to fight with not only my team, the development team, but also the community when I have to. And it's just all right, go for it.
Got that passion.
That's right. That's right. But guys, that is going to do it for this week's edition. No, not this week's edition, this episode, because we're coming back at the end of this week. That's going to do it for this episode. Vibe, anything else that you want to talk about before we close things out?
I feel good. Buildings are going to be sick. Get excited. Let's go, baby. I'm actually curious what it'll feel like in 2v2 as well. Like, what if I don't know, what if you build on like the front of your teammate's board, like the next to it, and like suddenly their buildings pull your units to the side or something like that?
Yeah.
I
think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with 2v2s that's going to change very drastically because of these turrets. Like, I don't want to say them all because I want to try them out with you, but we're going to be doing a lot of War Factory plays, okay? Just warning you.
Yeah, I got the mountains covered. Don't worry.
That's right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you this Friday, August 22nd for another edition of Mechabuzz. Please, if you have any questions, concerns, you want to give your input, you can email us at mechabuzzpodcast@gmail.com. Appreciate a lot of you guys tuning in. Al, PVT Funny, Lapaco, we got Soja out there, Doxin, Apucci. Like, I know a lot of you guys are either always around, or a lot of you guys are like just bulwarks inside of the scene. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back for another edition of Mechabuzz next time. Have a good one. Oh, and Amarak. Later, guys.
Later, guys. Thank you for watching.